Welcome to the First Lutheran Church podcast, produced by First Lutheran Church in Janesville, Wisconsin. We are a congregation of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America who are seeking to embrace love's adventure together. In this podcast series, we explore some of the contours of that adventure through conversations with friends and members of the community who are on the journey with us. We're glad you've joined us. Well, hello out there. It's good to be with all of you. I'm sitting here today with Bob Wasson of First Lutheran Church. This is Pastor Michael Mueller. And I was excited to talk to Bob because I've had the opportunity to ride with him a couple times now on some First Lutheran Church bike rides that we've been holding this summer. And so I wanted to get to know Bob a little bit and share with you about the shared adventures we've had riding bicycles. So welcome, Bob.
And I'm glad to be here.
So to start with, let's get to know a little bit about you. Tell us where you grew up.
I grew up in Afton, which I lived outside of Afton and go on Dugan Road, and I lived out maybe about a mile. At that time, there was railroad tracks. We used to walk up and down the railroad tracks or take our bike back and forth to Afton when I was a kid. And I used to bike a lot when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And we used to bike back and forth to school, back and forth to Afton, back and forth to Big Hill Park. We used to bike a lot.
So that was your way of getting around? And
that was my way of getting around.
Way of sharing time with friends? And
Yep.
Yeah.
Plain old one-speed bike.
All right. So tell us, what were you like as a child?
I was like, I wasn't watched real close. I call myself a free-range kid.
Uh-huh.
I covered a lot of territory when I was a kid.
It sounds like it.
Most of it between me and my neighbors, which I had two neighbors right next door to us, and they were roughly the same age I was. But all of our parents worked, so we kind of did what we wanted to do. So we wandered a lot, covered a lot of territory. So basically, that's when we got bikes, we went further on our bikes. We used to cover most of Rock County, go to Edgerton, Beloit, and especially we used to, on a one-speed bike, that took all day long.
Uh-huh.
And
that really extended your range.
Yes, it did. And then our parents would always ask us what we did all day, but we couldn't tell them what we did all day because they found out what we did, we would be in a lot of trouble.
So what would be an example?
Well, like one time we had a whim. We wanted to go swimming, so we went to Edgerton for a ride. And that took us from Afton to there. That is quite the distance on a one-speed bike. And we did go there. We went to go swimming, but it was closed. So we had to turn right around and come all the way back again.
Oh, my gosh.
So that was an all-day experience. That was probably when we were 13, 14 years old.
Uh-huh.
During the summertime when we had not much to do except ride bikes.
So you really had an adventurous spirit.
Oh yeah. Like I say, all of our parents worked, so they really couldn't watch, what we were doing. So we did a lot, and there was lots of stuff to see and do out in the country. We lived by two railroads, by a creek and a river, and we spent a lot of time on Bass Creek doing all kinds of stuff between fishing, walking, swimming, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And how many brothers and sisters did you have?
I got one sister. She's about 3 years younger than I am, and she was also kind of free range, but she was most of the time with her cousins that didn't live very far away. So I didn't have to worry about her too much. I was supposed to be taking care of her, but she was out with them, so I didn't have to do too awful much with her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
go ahead.
So I don't know. It's just when school was, when we were really young, between third, fourth, and fifth grade, I was in a run room school. then we did the consolidated schools. But then I really couldn't ride my bike too far because it was almost 7 miles away one way. So we had to take the old yellow school bus.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of cut that down. But we still did an awful lot of bike riding around home.
Mm-hmm. So how did all that adventurous experience as a child shape you for adult life?
I think it shaped me where I was more independent. It taught me how to figure out a lot of stuff, always things that I need to figure out. I didn't have nobody to figure a lot of stuff out besides me. That's where I learned stuff. There's some stuff I shouldn't have done, but that's how I, learned stuff. I kind of like trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we were all three together. There's some things we did we should have never did. One little experience, back then we all carried guns too. We always had 22s along the railroad track. They had insulators off. There was not one insulator between my house and about a mile either side. That's one thing as a kid we always did.
Because somebody was shooting them with a 22, huh?
Yeah.
But never got caught.
Oh, we never got caught.
Uh-huh. Well, I know that when I was growing up too, the experience of being on a bike and discovering new places, seeing how far I could go, and that independence of being out on my own, and
that's
the
kind
ability to be.
We did
discovering
out in Afton. We always wanted to either go to James or Beloit because that's where more things were to do. So we used to, ride to Lions Beach and go there and ride back home. I think that was about 7 or 8 miles back and forth doing that. So they were all day adventures.
Yeah, it's always fun to have a destination.
Yeah,
someplace you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Well, what have you particularly enjoyed about the rides we've done together as a group here at First Lutheran Church?
Well, I like to do group rides with people too. I mostly go by myself, but I also like to do group rides and experience the things that they've done and like to do, and just with the people in general. Since COVID has happened, there's a lot of people that don't like to ride with people at all. I found that out a lot. Just people don't like to ride with each other right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. I kind of like to ride with people. It makes the time go a lot faster, to share different experiences.
Mm-hmm. So we've done the pie ride together.
Yeah, we did a pie ride together. That was it wasn't a tough ride, but it was a good ride. I really liked that ride. We had good weather, not too much wind, and we got to see a lot of different cyclists from all over, from Madison, all different areas.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely a beautiful day.
Oh yes, it was.
We had probably 8 or 10 members of the congregation that
I
participated
think so.
in a couple different groups.
Yeah, there was different groups that went off at different times.
Mm-hmm. So that was about a 30-mile ride, right?
Yeah, 30 miles. Yeah.
And some of the other ones we've done have been a little bit shorter. We biked through Afton, which is when I got a chance
to. We past my old place where I used to live, out to Big Hill Park. Had to see Big Hill Park a little bit, because when I grew up, there was a ski jump there, and we used to like to go climb the ski jump. It was really forbidden for us to do it, but we did it anyway. And
there's a theme going on here.
Yeah. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff we weren't supposed to be doing.
Uh-huh. So good memories as you biked down to Big Hill Park again.
Yes, there was. I just had one bad incident there. If anybody ever goes to Big Hill Park, there was the upper part and the lower part. And we went up to the higher part. We were down by the ski jump again, and coming back down to the lower part, my bike didn't have really, really good brakes. So when I was coming down the hill, I was coming down there at a pretty good clip, and the bike got out of control, and I hit a big rock and flipped up in the air, completely totaled the bike, and didn't have one scratch on me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my parents didn't think so. when they seen the bike because they had to go get it.
You couldn't hide that one from them.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
That was one more totaled bike.
Yeah. Any other crazy experiences you've had on a bike?
Yes, I've had. And not 2 weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, I was coming up the trail. It was probably about a quarter mile coming up onto Milwaukee Street. And I was just feeling good. I just got over a summer cold, and things were really doing good. I just went down, looked at my trip meter, see how fast I was going. I was going up the hill about 14 miles an hour. There was a little bit of curve, and out that curve, I got hit by a deer. And I just seen a little bit of his hide in one eye, and he just completely flattened me.
You got hit by a deer.
Yeah, the deer hit me. I didn't hit the deer. And it just knocked me flat. And the next thing I knew, I was trying to get my bike under control, but there was no control because I was flying in the air. And when I hit, the bike was about 2 or 3 feet away from me. And I was laying on my back, and then I lay there, and I kind of wondered, do I got any broken bones? Then I started moving around a little bit, and I didn't. And then at that time, another set of people came up to help me to get me back up and kind of find how bad my bike was, which it got bent up pretty bad. Bent both front and back wheels, wrecked the back wheel completely, had to re-straighten the front wheel, bent the handlebars. But I was in not too bad a shape. I had a lot of bruises, and I had one cut on my arm. You know, it was just kind of like a road rash cut. It wasn't real deep or real bad. Kind of everything is all healed up now, just a little bit. Still sore here and there in places.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my worst wrecks.
That is not something you would expect.
No, I did not expect it at all. Because that deer didn't see me, and I didn't see it because there was a tree in the way. Uh-huh. And as he came down a little hill, I know he didn't see me at all because I came around that curve and he just blindsided me.
Uh-huh.
So other than that, I'm halfway decent shape now.
Yeah. Well, you didn't come out with no scratches like as a child, but
yeah, right.
You could have had it a lot worse. Glad you didn't injure yourself seriously.
Yeah, when I went to the bike shop to get my stuff, it says, "You're lucky you survived." I thought, wow.
Yeah, so be careful out on the bike trail.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, let's see. What do you have any goals for the future in terms of your riding? How much do you ride now? And is there some place you'd like to bike to that you haven't yet?
Well, what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to bike the different trails around, like the Sugar River Trail, the Badger Trail, which I have done some of. So I'm trying to do more of that kind of stuff to ride the trail. And I want to ride a trail from Cottage Grove over toward Waukesha in different parts, so not all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm kind of doing right now.
Good. I haven't been on those trails yet, but my brother and sister and I on the summers, we usually get together for a weekend or occasionally for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And spend the days biking together and then eating good food.
Yeah, I don't do too much at restaurants. Sometimes I do it. I just stop for small stuff like, to get a cup of coffee or something to drink or more water. Because that's one thing. I don't want to carry a whole lot of water with me because it's a whole lot of weight. So I try to find in places along the trail for to get water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, good. So we're looking for a couple more rides. We've been doing these First Lutheran Church rides once a month on the third Saturday, and we've got 2 more coming up here that we've planned for. The next one will be on Saturday, August 19th, and we're going to be biking up the bike trail, so be careful, to Riverside Park. And along the way, we'll pass the old brewery along the river. And Michael Palmer from our congregation has been actively working in a sort of a, what do you call it? Working, to dig out the old brewery and find
history of it. Find
the history and the bottles that have been buried there for years.
Yep.
And he's uncovered the foundation. So we'll have a chance to stop there and just take a look at that and discover what he's found there. And then go on to Riverside Park. Maybe we'll head out to breakfast after that, too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. And then one final ride on September 16th. And then we're going to ride on the bike trail north to Milton, and we'll have breakfast in Milton. All of those rides start at 8 o'clock. We'll gather in the church parking lot to head out from there, and enjoy the company of one another.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy it a lot.
It's been a great opportunity for us to have conversation and meet some people that we haven't known before. So
yeah,
I didn't have a chance to talk with you too much depth before we were riding together.
Yeah. We got to talk a lot about all kinds of different stuff where we lived in rides and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. So last question. If you were going to give some advice to a new bike rider, what would you suggest?
The best thing is to get a bike that fits them and learn how to get the bike fitted for them, and it works out a lot better to get a fitted bike instead of, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube and how to fit a bike to you. That's the best thing I have to say to people, because it makes a big difference, the bike that you use.
Yeah, I got my road bike last year, and I'd never been fitted for a bike before, and the Velocity shop here in Janesville took the time to look at that and gave me a different post for the handlebars so that it was raised up to the right level, and I felt the difference in my neck and shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I still get a little bit where I'm on handlebars a lot, my hands fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the big things, then, to build up your endurance slowly. Day by day. Don't try to go on big rides all at one time, because that'll really wear yourself out, and you won't like doing it, after that, if you just wear yourself out right away.
Yeah, taking it slowly and building up.
Real slowly.
And enjoying the time out in nature, especially
definitely.
On those beautiful mornings when the sun is shining and it's quiet.
Watch the birds, the deer, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you, Bob. I think the experience of riding as a child has been a gift that continues to bring enjoyment in later life.
Yeah, I'm going to do it as long as I can.
All right. Well, I hope to be doing it with you.
Okay.
Thanks for talking with me today.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. First Lutheran Church is learning to become genuinely inclusive, thoroughly engaged, externally focused, and relationally centered as we seek to live intentionally like Christ in the world. Embrace the adventure with us. You can find out more about us on our website at flcj.org. We welcome your questions and comments, which can be shared through our contact page. We're also active on Facebook and Instagram.